What's up, my friends? Welcome back. John Levesque here. It has been a long time since we have done a video together, so we are overdue. I have some very exciting stuff to show you today. I have a familiar guest joining me. If you've watched the channel at all, you know my good friend Yash Agarwal. Yash, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, John, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing really well, man. I'm doing well. It's Friday for me. I don't know what day this video is going to come out, but we're recording on a Friday, and I feel good about the weekend ahead. I'm ready for a break. It's been a long week. How about you?
Same here, actually. Just been waiting for the weekend this time. So,
waiting for the weekend. We could play the song. Everybody's waiting. Anyways, all right. So today, Yash is here to share with us some very exciting news. The DocuSign team has actually been hard at work. They have taken the DocuSign connector from Microsoft, began development on it themselves, and with that have created an exciting set of updates. And so if you go into Power Automate, you will see that there is a couple of DocuSign connectors, a production one and a demo one. And so all the exciting cool stuff has been added to the demo account. And I can tell you that it is coming to production within the next 60 days of when you will see this video. So everything we're going to show you in production or in demo will be possible in production within the next couple of months. So that's it. That's my ramble on. I'm going to go ahead here and let Yash introduce himself and then tell you what he's going to show off today, and then go ahead and get right into it. So Yash, my friend, take it away.
thank you so much for inviting me today, John. So today what we'll do is we'll be checking out the DocuSign demo connector as you've mentioned, and we'll see all the new actions that have been added to that in Power Automate, and we'll see how we can automate and simplify automating the process of an NDA using DocuSign and Power Automate.
Awesome.
Before starting, so I'll introduce myself. So I'm Yash Agarwal, and I'm a Microsoft MVP for Business Applications. I'm also an MCT and a super user in the Power Apps and Power Automate community forums. If you want to reach out to me, you can scan this QR code on the screen, and you can follow me on Twitter or reach out to me using my blog.
And don't be afraid. Reach out to Yash. He loves to hear from folks. He'd love to help you. He's got a business, building this kind of stuff, and so he comes and gives his knowledge away free here. But if you'd like to work with him, I can tell you for sure he'd love to work with you. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Thank you, John. And so coming to what we'll be doing today. So we have a DocuSign template that we'll be creating you for an NDA, and then we'll integrate that with SharePoint. We'll see how we can add members to a list, and then based on that, we trigger a flow in Power Automate. We'll see a couple of approvals through which this entire process flow goes. And then finally, the NDA is sent over to the contractor, for example, and when they sign it, we'll save it back to SharePoint. So let's get started with that. First what we'll do is we'll see this NDA. I have this SharePoint site created. I've named it as Team NDA, and then in the documents, I already have an NDA template which I've already placed here so that we can directly use it. Let's see how that looks like. So it's a Word document that we have over here. It has all those clauses for an NDA. You can add or remove anything based on requirement. And then at the end, I have the signature tabs that we'll be placing. So let's see. There you go. We have those two signature tabs that will be custom placing over here through the flow in Power Automate. And we'll also allow the user to enter some information. And then we'll quickly create a list on SharePoint so that we can trigger our flow based on that. So we'll go to site contents here, and let's add a new list.
So Yash is going to build this SharePoint list out, but the thing to know here is what he's creating is a quick system of record. And so if you have Dynamics, if you have Salesforce, if you have whatever it may be, this will be very much the same, where you could say, when I enter someone's information into my system of record, run this set of actions that will then create.
So I'm adding the email address as a column over here. The title will have the name of the contractor. And let's say I'll add another field as company, and let's say another list, another column that says compensation, and we'll save this. You can have additional metadata as well based on your existing systems, and you can add more as required. Now that we have this list created, we will start creating our flow. So if I come here, I'll get started with a new flow, and then we'll select an automated cloud flow because we want this to run every time a new SharePoint item is created. I'll create, I'll select this when an item is created trigger, and let's name the flow as send an NDA when a new contractor is added, and create. Here we'll provide the site address first, so team NDA, and then our list name, which is contractors. Once we have this information, I'm going to add a new step, which is to get the NDA document, the doc file that we had. So I'm going to use the action that is get file content using path from SharePoint.
Now, it's important to know, you notice that Yash went and made the list ahead of time, because if he would have came and tried to build the flow beforehand, he wouldn't have been able to find the list. Obviously, he would have had to go back, build it, refresh the flow. And so this order of operations is important, knowing to go ahead and set up your data ahead of time before getting the flow going.
Okay. And then we'll directly select our file path from here. So it's in the documents, in the general folder, and we have the NDA template. Now that we have this, what I need to do is basically first we are going to create an envelope using DocuSign connector. So I'm going to search for DocuSign, and we're going to select the DocuSign demo connector. In this, we have a set of actions. So we'll first select the create envelope over here, because the first step is basically creating the envelope that we want to send, and it provides me with the account that I can select. So I'm selecting my account, and then in the email subject, I'll write, let's say, contractor NDA from BTD,
Small typo in
and then
contractor.
okay, my bad, contractors.
There you go.
Hello, and then let's say I'll put the name of the person. So it's from the title. Please do not sign the NDA. And then the next step is basically adding the file to the envelope. But before we do that, what we want to do is we'll set up the custom tab positions that we want the flow to add those custom tabs at. So I'm going to come back to the NDA template. And if you see over here, I have certain fields that are expected to be entered by the contractor. So for example, let's take this one. Now I want the contractor to enter the day and the month over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add like slash day slash, or let's say PAPE contract. And here I'm going to do the same thing slash date month, or let's say we'll put month contract so it's easier, and another slash. We'll get rid of these. And let's say over here, I'll allow the user to enter their name. So we're just going to put contractor name over here. And you can just similarly create those tabs for other data that is needed. And similar to what we did over here, what I'm going to do is at the end, we also need that the disclosing party who is sending the NDA and the party who's going to receive it. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add the name of the contractor again. And here we're going to put signature, or let's say title. So we'll just put role contractor and the slash. And then just get them back again. Similar to that, we'll do it over here. So I'm going to put name of, let's say, the manager who's sending over the contract. And here we're going to put the role of the manager. And once the contract is sent for signing to the contractor, it is going to be sent to the manager so that they acknowledge and sign, which is why we'll also add another tab over here so that they approve it. So I'll just put the approval button over here as a tag. And then we need the signatures. So I'm going to put that over here. So let's say signature, and I'll put the contractor tag here. And similarly, we'll have one over here. Let's just put the tab and signature of the manager. We'll have to ensure that these tags that we're using are not repeated, because it's going to then confuse our flow where to put the uh, custom tabs at. Now that we have this, I'm going to go back here to the flow and add my new step, which is again DocuSign demo, where we'll see or search for the option which is add documents to an envelope. So we'll select this, and here I'm going to select my account, which is this, and then the envelope, it comes from the dynamic content from the outputs of the create envelope action. So I'll just put the envelope ID here. And then this is basically important because it expects us to provide the base 64 of the file content. And this file content which we get from this action is not base 64. So what we'll do is we'll put the file content here. We'll copy this over and we'll switch to the expression mode, search for the base 64 command, and then paste it here. So this is going to format the proper base 64 and get rid of the file content. And then the document type we have is docx, so we keep that. For the name, we're going to just put the NDA as name here. And then the next step would be adding a recipient to this envelope that we've created. So I'm going to again search for DocuSign, and from the demo, it's going to show me an option where we can add a recipient to the envelope. So I'm going to select this. This is for the contractor. So let's just rename this as contractor, and going to select all these again from the drop downs. The envelope ID is to be from the create envelope action. And then here we have the signer name, which is going to come from our SharePoint. So I'm going to put title here. And then the signer email is again going to come from SharePoint. So we're going to put this here. Now we can assign a signing order to this, but since our workflow is like we first send it for signing to the contractor and then we're going to send it to the manager. So I'm going to put the signing order as one over here. Then I'm going to add another step and again search for add recipient. And this time it's going to be for the manager. So we'll just rename this and put manager here. Now again select the account and provide the envelope ID here. And then we'll put the signer's name as, like, for example, I'm sending it out right now. So I'll just put some text name here. And then the email is going to be my email address. So I'll just, for this test purpose, I'm going to grab it from here. Okay. And then we're going to provide the signing order as 2. Now that we have these actions, what we've done so far is we've created an envelope, we've added the document to it, and we've added the recipients. Now the next step is basically to add those custom tabs that we want. So I'm going to again search for DocuSign.
At some point, I imagine that the Power Automate tool will serve you up whatever it was you were just using, so you don't have to search for it. But maybe I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I think it's going to get those recently used things, so it's easier for us to search and add.
Hopefully.
So I have this add tabs for the recipient. So I'm going to select this now. And this is again for the contractor. So what we'll do is we'll just add a scope action here. And let's rename this as scope for contractor. And we'll move this action in here. Now, basically this action is going to allow us to add one tab at a time. So I'm going to
Mm.
search, select the account ID, the envelope ID from our create envelope here. And then the recipient ID is going to come from the add a recipient action. So first it's for the contractors. I'm going to add their recipient ID here. And then I can select a tab type. Now this basically is I can add an approval button here, an attachment so that the user can upload something, or a checkbox. If you want a date sign tab, we can do that. Email, initial name, signature, etc. So I'm going to first put the name over here, or let's say I can just select a text tab so it's more welcoming. And then here you can see that I can provide all these options over here. But from these, the required one is the anchor string. And if I come back over here, I have the anchor string which is over here, which says the contractor name. So I'm going to copy paste this from here to my anchor string here. So it's going to basically look for this and then place the custom tab over there. And then I can also provide some offset if I want to. So once I find this text, if it should be at a particular axis or a particular point where this starts, so we can provide that. But let's skip that for now. And now that I have this name thing sorted, I'm just going to copy this, add an action, and then from my clipboard, paste it again over here. But this time, what we have is like, again, we are going to use a text type place. But what we're going to do is from my template, let's say I'll show you how to do the date contact. And similar to this, we'll be adding for month contract and so on. But just for now, we'll just leave it as is for the contractor name and the date. And then I want to add another one.
Thank goodness for copy.
Yes. Here we'll just grab this contractor thing and
So you have contractor name and name of contractor. Are those different?
yes,
Okay.
those two are different because like we are identifying those as different tabs. We can have them same also, but then the values which was entered on the first one will get rewritten over here also.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and we have that tab, and then I'll add another one for the job title. And then we have one for the signature. So I'll put this here and get the signature contractor. This time we are going to select the tab type as signature and it provides the signature tag. Now if you see, we have this in an improper order. So what I'm going to do is the first one is the contractor name, but then it should actually be the date. So we'll just drag this action below this. And then the user is going to sign. So we'll just move this over here. And then they're going to put their name and then they're going to put their title. So that's pretty much it for the contractor. I'll just copy over the entire scope and we're going to use it for the manager. Let's rename this as scope for manager. And we're going to just keep renaming or remove the recipient ID from here and let's search. This is the recipient ID for the manager. And you see, this person does not have to provide the date contract. They just have the signature part, the name and the role and the approval part. So I'll copy over the signature part and paste it here. and change the tab type to signature. So we
Man,
have
this
the
is
signature
so
tab.
cool that they made all this accessible through the connector.
Okay, yeah,
For
totally.
those of you who may just be seeing this video and didn't see Yash build something like this similarly previous, go back and look at the very first DocuSign connector video and some of the API videos, and just look at the progress made. So many of the things that Yash did with the API, they've now included by default in the connector.
Correct.
It's pretty incredible.
Also, that this is more kind of UI friendly. That one we had to
Yes.
write a lot of JSON code. So
Yes.
I personally like
That's
this one a lot.
well, it's true democratization, right? It gives that power that most people don't know how to write JSON, but most people can go copy and paste things and drag and drop and build this.
Okay. And this one was text. So the recipient ID is not the correct one. I'm going to get it from the manager. And then we don't need this one, sorry, delete this. We just need the last one, that is for the approval part. So let's say we're going to search for approval, and then just grab the approval part from here. All right, so let's do a quick check. We have that one from the manager, this again from the manager, and this one from the manager, and this one also from the manager. Perfect. So this is done now. The last one is like once we've added tabs, we want to send over the envelope. So I'm going to search again for DocuSign. And here we'll select this send envelope. So I'm going to select this, select my account and the envelope ID from the very first action, which was to create the envelope. All right. Now that we have this process, I'll add another scope action over here, which is going to be named as DocuSign, and we'll move all the actions inside here.
Oh yeah, getting deep now. Scopes and scopes.
Yes. The reason why is like we are now going to add the approval steps. So I'm going to search for the start and wait for an approval. Basically, every time the contractor is added, we first want to get an approval that they have been approved and then only send the NDA to them.
Yes,
So,
yes, that makes sense.
yeah. And let's say everyone must approve. For now, I'm just going to hard code this. So, new contractor request, and I'll assign it to myself. The details, let's just put some text. Alright, so we're going to get the name from the title, the email address here, the company, and finally compensation here. Now we'll just check here, adding this condition, if the outcome of the approval was approved. And then if it was approved, only then do the DocuSign part, or else we can basically build the entire no branch, like sending an email message to the requester and so on. But we'll skip
Yep.
that for this. And there's one more thing. Basically, in the start and wait for an approval, I selected everyone must approve. So I'm going to change that back to the first one to respond, because when we select everyone should approve, the response might be different. Okay, to copy everything. You know what? Let's see if it gets us back.
Nope.
Okay.
I knew it wouldn't. Close and flow.
I know.
Flow is unforgiving. It is Power Automate is unforgiving. It's a powerful tool, but it is a finicky tool.
So the name is, oh no, email address, and then we have company, and finally the compensation. All right. And while this is saving, I'll just open another Automate tab, because we are going to create another flow that is going to help us to extract the signed NDA and then paste it back to our SharePoint document library. So this is
Nice.
basically like more or less like the previous workflow that we did when we did the previous video. So I'm
Mhm.
just going to add a new flow over here, again an automated cloud flow, and let's say we'll name it as save signed NDAs, and we'll search for DocuSign here. So let's see. So we're going to select the demo one because we have been using that to send out the envelope. So I'll select this and click on create. Here I'm going to provide the account ID, and let's name the connection as NDASP integration. And then the event is basically when everybody has signed and approved, and the status changes to completed. So we're going to select that and then add a new step here. Again, from the DocuSign connector, we're going to get the signed documents. So let's search here. We have get envelope documents. The account ID is going to be BTD, and then the envelope ID is going to come from our trigger. And then we also require a certification of completion, so we'll leave that. And then add a new step to create a file in SharePoint. We'll provide the site address, the folder path. Let's just put it on the shared documents for now. And we'll put the name of the file as signed NDA, and let's say I'll just add the time zone, so the current timestamp in UTC. And it's going to be a PDF, so we'll just put PDF here. And then the
That's
content of the
important.
file is, so,
That's
yep.
important. I just want you to know. Yash just blew right past that, but make sure you put your file extension. Otherwise, this will blow up. It won't know what to make. It can't read your mind. So make sure you put your dot whatever.
That's true. So this flow is ready, and so is this one. Now it's time to test. Let's see what this says.
My favorite time. Here we go. Fingers crossed.
Okay, so actually now I know what this is. Basically, whenever you have a new environment and you put the approval action there, so it may take some time for us to for the backend thing in Microsoft to install the flow or the approval related solutions, and this might not work for us. So
Okay, so behind the scenes, there's this thing called Dataverse. Wait, no, what do they call it now?
it's
What's the
data.
name of it? It is Dataverse. Okay, good. Yeah, Dataverse. Usually the common data service. Now it's Dataverse, and they have to do a bunch of behind the scenes setup and distribution that happens to be able to enable the approvals module. And so what we're seeing there is that it might not be provisioned for this account yet.
Correct. So what happens is, like, when you create your first approval flow on a new tenant, at that point it starts installing those related solutions. So for our test, I'm just going to drag drop this out and keep it over here, and we'll skip
Yes.
the approvals part, and I'll just add the terminate action.
So what we're doing here is showing you, oh, this approval would work, but instead what we're going to go ahead and do is just assume that the approval was a yes. And so you'll go ahead and get to see all the actions take place. The only assumption you have to make right now is that when the approval came through, somebody clicked approve, and then this demo will work as advertised.
That's correct. And the last one thing that we have to do is, in our NDA template, we have added these tabs, and when DocuSign sends those, so these tabs will still appear. So we're just going to select the tab part and change the color of the text to white so that it's not seen.
This is another very important part. Thank you, Yash, I was going to come back to this, but I'm glad that you caught it. So this is another one of those things, kind of those tribal things you just have to know. If you don't make the text white, it will still show up kind of next to the thing that was inserted, and it just doesn't look that good. So go ahead and make the text white, so that way when it drops in, that kind of just disappears. It isn't shown. Now, it will mess with your formatting a little bit, possibly, but that's why inside of those actions, there was an XY offset so that you can decide and fine tune where exactly on the page it should land.
Okay, just one more to go. Da-da-da. All right, so now it's done. Just hit the Control S and close this because we're going to get that on our flow here. So now we're
Yes.
ready to test. I'm going to hit test here and click manually and force test this, and then make the trigger here. So we're going to add a new item. I'm going to put the title as my name and the email as my official email. And then let's say for the company, and let's say compensation is, let's say, 5,000 over here.
Oh, I would have paid yourself $1 million. Listen, I'm contracting for me. I'm paying me $1 million.
All right, so the flow is running now. It's here on our DocuSign action. Let's see what's happening. So
Envelope
basically,
created, documents added. Nice. All the tabs getting added for everybody. And envelope sent.
Okay, cool. Now it's time to see the envelope. So I'm going
right.
to open my email here. So this is the email. Basically, it has the subject. One thing is, like, when we used to do it using the connector, it did not allow us to customize the subject or add something in the body when we were using a template. But now using these additional actions, we are able to do that.
Yeah, that is pretty nice because now we create a fresh envelope. We're not tied to a template.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And we also, pass dynamic content over here. Like, my name was pulled from the SharePoint list. So that's
Yeah.
it. Now, time to
Very
review
cool.
Let's see what we have here. Allow. Okay. And I agree. Continue. So as you can see, if I hit the start button, it's going to first ask me to put the date. And let's say put today's date 16. Okay, it has put the same tabs here. We'll check this out why that happened. So let's put 16 tab. And then it asks me to sign here. So I put my signature. And then it has got these by default here directly from the first tab itself. We'll go back to the flow and quickly check once. Okay, it's really common. Let's see what happened here. Okay, create envelope, add tabs for the recipient. We have the date contract here. We have the contractor name here, and that's interesting.
This is interesting.
So yeah, for all the text tabs of type text, it just despite us providing this, it just took up the, what do you say?
Oh, so interesting. We can only have one text tab.
Yeah, that's weird though, because in the code it did not have it like that. Okay, let's see what it does when I do it from here. So for the recipient,
Hmm?
let's do this. Continue. So we have 16 over here, anyways.
Yep.
Start, and then it's allowing me to sign. So I'll sign here, and then I'll provide my name. So just having those text tabs replicated
Okay,
no
so
matter what.
one text field per recipient at the moment, but I think that
At the
that is
moment.
incorrect.
Totally. And
Yeah.
then I have the approve button that just got moved here. Ideally, it should have been here. So that's why we have those X and Y coordinates thing. And I'll
Yep.
just check this as approved and ready to finish. All right. Now that the signing has finished, our other flow should have triggered. So let's see. We have it here in our email at this point.
Oh, so it's completed, which could take a second to deliver
Yes.
status over to the flow.
If we have all the information, it's those tabs that we'll have to check once.
Okay, so the important part though is our signature functionality worked,
Yes.
and we were able to place the anchor tabs in the proper placement. So the only thing that we mixed up was the text piece, which very
Text.
honestly, I'm wondering if that is something we did, or I'm wondering if it's a issue in the demo connector that needs to be addressed.
I believe it's on the connector, but we can confirm real quick once. So I have the second flow run. It saved my file here. I'll go back to the documents, and there you go.
Well,
Let's open this up, and we have the signed NDA.
heck yeah.
It should be along with this part. Correct.
With the confirmation page.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay. So, yeah, that's it. Let's just do one real quick test again, John. So,
Okay.
I'm going to edit this. Okay, I have the text date contract was
So
here.
maybe instead of text, let's try a date field. I wonder if
Yeah.
that, right? If that's going to fix it for us.
So this
Uh,
one is basically having doesn't have, or it does not allow us to input it as date. So I'm assuming the text would be the one for this. For
I
this one,
see.
I can select the name,
Okay.
and let's see if there's any white spaces. Okay. This is signature. So
Yep.
signature anyways came through properly. Then we have this, which is the name again. So I'm going to put name here. This can be seen, doesn't matter. And over here we have role. So I'm going to select title and get rid of the extra space. let's do the same for the manager. We have the first tab where they sign.
Signature, that's
Second
good.
one,
Name.
we have the name. So let's just select. Okay.
So this is a good lesson. And whereas in Flow, a lot of things you just make a text. You just choose text or string. But here in DocuSign, you do not. It is not thing.
Yep. And then the approval one. Okay, let's do
All
a
right.
quick test again.
Yeah. This time it's going to work. I know it.
Yes.
And it worked like 90% of the time in the last one.
Yep. We're going to use the same trigger. So
We get to do my favorite part twice. This was always my favorite part of Flow. Literally watching the waterfall of actions happen.
mine is like by the time I open the action, it should show the green tick, or else I start panicking sometimes.
You try and race it.
All right, so it sent the envelope. Let's see this time. I hope it has got the correct ones. So review the document. Okay. All right, so it by default got my name here because we provided it when we were adding the recipient itself. That's cool. So I'm going to provide 16 here, start, and then, all right, this time it corrected it. So
Yeah, this is way better.
Signature, and then for the title, it's going to allow me to enter stuff properly. So it's not treating everything as text now.
Yep, perfect.
All right. Now we go back and do it from the manager's side. So review document again. All right. So here we have
There's
it. Okay, I
16
understand. Yeah. You see, I think what's happening is the tabs are somehow, the anchor tabs, the type we are selecting is somehow getting mixed up. So I'll follow up and see what's happening there. If I start here, it got me the title instead of here, it got it here. So we'll have
So
to fix this.
placement. So it's still inserted. It's just the placement that's off, which again is why that XY axis is very important.
Okay. And then the signature and then the approve button. All right, so that's pretty much it. We've signed
Cool.
it, and then it's going to basically run the other workflow and get us the document into SharePoint.
Awesome.
So we have the completed email here, and then I'll go to the run history again. All right, so
There it
it's
is.
running now.
Creating it. 51 milliseconds ago. What a moment to click the refresh, huh? 51 milliseconds after the run.
And it ran successfully, so we have the file here now. There you go.
Beautiful. Nice. Okay, wonderful. So, a couple of lessons right at the end I noticed. One, don't just use text for everything. Go ahead and try and use the actual selection of what type of tab it should be, because it looks like it is one field type per document per recipient. So that's important to know. Second thing is make sure and go back and white out all of your text Also, make sure and go back after testing this and play with your XY offset so that you can make sure and get those items exactly where you want them. The API takes a little bit of extra work up front to try and set this up and have a custom connector, and it seems to maybe drop things in places better, and also allows you multiple text fields per recipient, but you're going to have to write JSON. And so if you can, that's probably maybe still the ideal way for you. But if you can't, if you don't even know what JSON is, this is absolutely the route forward. And we'll just take a little bit of tweaking on the back end to perfect the look and feel and get it exactly how you want. But the beautiful thing is Yash has given us a ton of place to start where, you know, our imagination is where it goes from here, right? We can change our system of record. We can change our template. We can deliver that file to a different place. We can change what's inside of it. We can add different tabs. There's a million things we can do from here to customize the experience for us. But Yash, man, thanks so much for coming. And again, as always, sharing your knowledge and another good lesson.
Thank you so much for inviting me, John.
Yeah, so you guys at home, you know what to do, okay? Go ahead and click a like, get subscribed if you're not already, and go ahead down to this description where I will have some helpful links, some timestamps, and some more information so that you can keep your learning on DocuSign and Power Automate. But also, get connected with Yash. If you look at this and you're like, you know what? This is way too complicated for me. I want someone else to do it for me. Talk to Yash. He'll be happy to do it for you. Okay? All right. Yash, my friend, thanks again, man. Really appreciate you being here. To you guys at home, much love from me. I'll see you in the next one.